Okay, let's go over mononucleosis. We typically shorten that to mono, but this is a very, very contagious virus. As a matter of fact, the CDC right now says that in 5 years, the virus will be, that 97% of the population will be positive for this virus. So that's how contagious it is. The disease is mononucleosis, but the virus is the Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, now you get this one. Some of you may be familiar, some of you may have already had it. Personal touch, sharing of fluids, if you drink after someone, if you eat after someone, if you use their lip balm or their lipstick or anything like that, guys. It's also called the kissing disease because you can get it from kissing someone. It is pretty rare for this to run within families. Generally, not everybody in the family gets it, unless you're a family that drinks and eats after each other. Um, you probably won't pass this on to your brothers or sisters. With mono, because mono is following the lysogenic cycle, it can be in your system for quite a long time before it makes you sick. So remember that cycle, the DNA, the genome, has attached to yours, and every time your cells replicate, you're replicating the virus. So, symptoms of this can be very mild and it can be very bad. You are fatigued, which means that's a little bit worse than tired. You have a high fever. People with mono and that have pretty bad cases of it will have an enlarged spleen and enlarged liver. So it's very specific to those areas. And I've had kids come to school that have had mono that have mild cases, and sometimes their doctors say they can come for a couple of days. And then I've had kids that have had it that could not go any further than lifting their head off the bed, so they weren't able to really do much of anything. So, depending on where you are with the virus, can depend on your symptoms. But mono is one of those that's pretty common at your age group because it's only your age group typically that shows symptoms due to the fact that your immune systems are compromised. You're doing a lot of things, you're up late, you've got a lot of stress in your life right now, and that causes these symptoms to exacerbate or get worse. Mono will lay low after the symptoms have gone away. It does remain in the system. It doesn't shed from your system very easily, and it stays. So even after you have shown symptoms, you are still considered to be a carrier. Now remember, carriers are not showing symptoms of the disease, but they have it and they're able to transmit it. So be very careful. Another good reason not to eat or drink after anybody. You don't know if they have got this virus in their system, and if they do, then you're going to get it as well. All right, let's go down to Zika. Zika is zoonotic. It is transmitted by the mosquito, so the mosquito is the vector. And this comes from an infected bite. You can also get it from a blood transfusion. You may also get it through sexual contact, so it can come under it's not typically thought of as an STD, but it can be transmitted that way. And certainly, women that are in their first trimester, which means the first 3 months of pregnancy, severe birth defects. The main symptom is called microencephaly. Micro means small, encephaly means brain or head. So the kids that are born, and really this is one that you should look up because when the kids are born with this, they have very small heads and very small brains. It's very, very pitiful. And this one surfaced during the games, the games in Brazil, where there was the mosquito. Typically, we haven't had it, although it has shown up in Florida. But the mosquito was biting a lot of people at the Olympics, and they were coming down with Zika. and then they would end up transmitting it through a number of ways. So blood is checked for transfusion, blood is checked for Zika. Again, controlling the vector. There was someone that I recently knew that was infected with this, and they had gone to Disney World in Florida. So Florida typically does have that mosquito. I don't think Memphis does. But again, we want to be very mindful of mosquitoes, and controlling the vector is going to be a good way of controlling this disease.